So, as you know, like I said, I've been building custom hacks and custom builds and stuff like that into ClickFunnels since 2016. And so I have this massive library of all these different kind of what I refer to as engagement devices. And over the last couple of months, I've had a real tough time having a bunch of issues. My wife has been sick. I've been sick. A bunch of other stuff. So it really slowed me down. But I'm not complaining. I'm still alive. I'm still here. I'm happy about that. But slowed me down a lot on getting together my a whole bunch of engagement devices. And then all of a sudden, yesterday, ClickFunnels comes out and they have all of these, again, what I will refer to 100 times here, the engagement devices on their page. And for me, part of the reason you put this on the page is because it's the old concept of the longer people take to consume your sales message, the longer they're on your page, the more likely they are to do something once they're there. So they come in here and there's some sliders and there are like FAQ accordions, there are surveys and quizzes and videos for them to watch and stuff like that. Longer they stay on your page, the more likely they are to actually be able to consume what it is that you are saying to them. Your salesmanship in print is really what a sales letter is, and then be able to purchase things. And that's one of the reasons why I would guess that ClickFunnels did this, unless they just had a whole bunch of time and they were sitting around and they had nothing better to do than build out everything on here. Because on this page here, you're going to see a lot of custom code. And in fact, most everything they built on here that is animated, that is here to engage you, was all custom coded. So on this site alone, first off, just everybody let me know, go through the page, ClickFunnels.com, go through the page, and let me know what you think about what's on the page and whether you'd like to know how to build some of this stuff yourself, because I'm kind of, working on some stuff on that'll be available beginning of next week. Sales page isn't done yet, probably won't be done by Monday, but whatever. If you're interested in it, just, again, comment below. And I'll get you out the sales page before it's even done. Haven't got an OTO yet. Haven't got an order bump yet. Haven't got any of that stuff. So we're just beta scratching the surface here, getting this all together for everybody. But so I'm just curious. A couple things on this page here. Like first off, what do people think about the type here? Is that something that people like, the type going across the screen like this or not? I've never been a huge fan of it. I've built it in the past before, but I've never been a huge fan of it. But if people like that, I would definitely include that kind of stuff in the training I was planning on doing. Down here, we can look at these buttons on the page. And at first when I saw them, I got to make sure I'm still sharing my screen properly. Looks like I am. When I first saw these on the screen here, I thought, oh, okay, well, they used a navigation item element. And I looked in here and go, no, this isn't a navigation element at all. In fact, it's an element called a link, which I'm going to have to actually look in the editor to see what that is. So they had to use... They not only put in essentially what appears to be a button, but really isn't. It's inside of a flex container. They use a lot of flex on this page. And if you ask me, it's much better to use sections as elements rather than flex. Flex is incredibly powerful, but it's also really tough to work with for most people. But so what they did here, so then I haven't looked at the code, but they obviously would have had to have extra code in here then to actuate this. So when you click on this, it changes out what's down here below. And I looked at that and I thought, well, why couldn't you could do this with a whole bunch, 5 buttons across here and just do a hide show a section down here. So I'm not quite sure. I'm sure they had a really good reason to build it this way, but it certainly could be built another way. This down in here, actually, again, this entirety of this thing right here was built with, let me see here. Am I in the right place here? Let's inspect this. This was built right here. You can see here. This was built using custom HTML JavaScript element. And again, I don't think you'd have to build it this way. It's something that I would definitely look into if anybody was interested in this. I could include it in the training. But to me, this is a section, and we have either a background video playing here or even an animated GIF. You make an animated GIF and just put that in there, and you can build all that directly right inside of the ClickFunnels editor. And that's one of my big things, and it's always been my big thing, is use the ClickFunnels editor as much as humanly possible in order to get the result that you want on the page. So use the elements on the page, then use a little sprinkling of code over the top to modify them to get to do what you want them to do. This here is nothing. So down here we have a slider down here. And in the training I'm doing so far, I have 12 to 15 fully built, and I'll show you just 2 or 3 of them here. I didn't have a chance this morning to pull up too many examples yet, but I got just a couple here. I can show you examples of what is existing already. Plus, that's just one way of doing it. There are at least 4 or 5 different ways I can show you how to do different sliders, and I'll show you examples over the next week or so as I go live and I get some of this stuff all put together and ready to go for everybody. So there's a whole bunch of different ways you can do it. And so, I mean, they did a good job on this here. It's a beautiful slider, goes back and forth. When you hover over it, it stops, which is always something you want to happen on your sliders. And but there is no navigation control. There's no dots. There are no arrows. There's no nothing on that one, which is fine because sometimes you want to build them without that. Sometimes you want it with that. But again, this entire thing here, I looked at the code. There's a whole bunch of code down at the bottom. It's all a whole bunch of Flex containers, and they completely wrote the code for this right here on the page. You could go in, you could find it, you could try to emulate it if you wanted to, but it would be difficult, even for somebody like myself who has a little bit of knowledge in how to write code. It would still be pretty tough. Okay. So either way, so we got funnels for creators here. We got this. Okay, is this whole thing? Okay, it's a series of images. Actually, just click on this here for a second and see how they built this thing. Again, a whole bunch of flex upon flex upon flex. So okay, yeah. So that can be built that way, or the whole thing could just be built as a singular image and just dropped in there. So that's interesting. Excuse me. Videos here. Okay, so we got kind of a video pop-up thing, and I forget now, but I think there's a video pop-up element in ClickFunnels. So I'll have to see how they built this. Well, let's just inspect it again. And let's see what we got here. Am I in the right place here? Inspect this. Okay, so that's an image. Modal. So yeah, okay, this is the video pop-up element right here. So that's actually built right into ClickFunnels. So that one's easy to go. And now here, what we got is you see here on the page, this is just a simple animation. And again, this is something I could show anybody how to do if they wanted to, because all they're doing here is on hover, they're taking this column. I think they did it in the column. Actually, let's just inspect this and take a look. See how they did this? Okay, it was a flex container. I should have figured that because everything else is flex containers. So we can come down here and we can turn on the hover, and you can see when it turns on the hover, it moves up. And because what it does is it gives it a top margin of minus 10 pixels. So it does that, and also what it does is it increases the border at the bottom. So right here we got style box shadow distance of 73 pixels. It increases that to minus 267 pixels right there. So that's what it does when you hover over the element. And so let me close that back off. What else do we have here? Oh, and again, this is, again, a slider or an accordion or whatever you guys want to call them. You can move it with these arrows. Again, they can be built with arrows, without arrows. They can be built with the ability to slide. This one does not have the ability to slide. And then one of the biggest things you definitely always want is to make sure that they are mobile friendly, so that you can actually put in there, okay, let's say on desktop you want 3 wide, and then maybe on an iPad you want 2 wide, and then on mobile, maybe you only want 1 on the screen at a time as it's sliding across. So you want to be able to do that, but also because obviously on here, we can take our mouse and we go back and forth. You also want to make sure when you build these things that on a mobile device, you can move it back and forth with your finger. That's very important to be able to do that, because if you can't move back and forth with your finger, it's not going to work anyway, because, and there's no hover or anything like that in a mobile device. So again, here we'd have to look to see, is there any animation on mobile because you can't hover over that. So again, we'd have to do a little more exploring on that. And that right there is pretty much the page. So I'm going to show you just like 3 different examples of some of the stuff I have going. So maybe this afternoon, I'm going to jump in here and show a few more things, a couple more new things inside of ClickFunnels. But then also, as a week is unfolding here between now and Funnel Hacking Live, I'm going to come out and show you a bunch more stuff that I have already built and into the training or will be in there. And one of the things with my training, this is the way I've always done it, especially when I did my membership ninjas, is I built out the core of the training, and then I basically said to the students, okay, what do you guys want? And they told me, and I'd probably say 3/4 of the content in membership ninjas was simply because my clients said, the students said, build me this. And I did that. And that's really the best way to really do it. I got a couple that I was just showing in the last week that are definitely on the top of the list to get built out. But let me see what I all had in here. So here's a simple slider where it's just fading. There's nothing moving across the screen. Everything is just fading right here. You can change the duration of the feed, the time, all that kind of stuff. And of course, anything that is in here is clickable. You could have, instead of just singular images here, you could have a 2-column row. You could have text, you could have buttons, you could have links, you could have videos, you could have anything you want in here. We can round the corners. We can do everything because everything is built directly inside of ClickFunnels. And you saw as I hovered over it, it stopped moving. But now as I swipe my mouse across it here, it can start moving again. And then kind of decided to stop on me for some reason there. That's fine. Okay, let's go to this next one here. This is very similar to what you saw over here on the ClickFunnels page, but it's used again. Okay, so here we got a testimonial slider. This is something very similar to that. And again, these things can be built any way you want. This could be full width across the page. And again, what I'm showing here is because we can build this, because we're building the whole thing inside of ClickFunnels, we can use all the layers. We can use sections, rows, columns. And because of that, I can put borders around here. I can put shadows around here. I can put inside shadows, outside shadows, all that kind of stuff down here. We can control it by putting some buttons. You can control the size and shape of these icons down here, the colors of them. We can have buttons on the side. We can take the buttons out the side. We can put the buttons down below. Basically, it's whatever you want, and that's what I like about this system that I'm using here, is that it is totally, completely flexible. And the thing is, I give you all the training, I give you all the code, and I give you the share funnel. So all you got to do is take this section, pop it out, stick it into your funnel, stick it into your client's funnel, and away you go. You don't even really have to change anything. Here again, back to very similar to this one here, sliding on its own. I just call this like an as seen on. Again, you can put anything you want in here. You can have images in here. You can have testimonials, videos, whatever you wanted in there. And so now this one here, actually, this is a slider that I turned into a quiz funnel. So the nice thing about this, because again, it's using all the ClickFunnels elements, it will, we can put in the inputs that then save all this information directly into ClickFunnels. And I say here, what's your favorite type of pizzas, cheese? Then here you have, instead of we can go back here because I got a little back button. Instead of having a text input here we have check mark inputs. And then here we have a drop-down input, and here we have a text area input. So I showed all 4 different types of inputs that you can have in ClickFunnels. And we get to this last page right here, and I will delete that off of there. And yeah, you can have that address. So, and I say here, if you'd like to get some cheesy garlic bread, just go there and you're good to go. You hit continue. It will take you to the thank you page. And then last one I'm going to show you, because I'm actually late to jump on the call with Russell, the expert call, is we got a bunch of different FAQs here. So I said there's a whole lot of different ways that you can build out these engagement devices. And one of them that people love are FAQs. So on this page alone, you can see I have 5, 6. Yeah, I got 6 different ways. This one down here isn't working right. I got 6 different ways that you can handle different types of FAQs. And it just goes to show you that you can basically make your FAQs look however you want, act however you want. They can be inside of boxes. They can be individuals like this. You can put your icons on here. You can have your icons rotating. You can have them left, right, top, bottom, however you want this in here. You can make this stuff basically look however you want. And again, that's possible because we're not resorting to using the custom HTML boxes like they did with a lot of stuff on the ClickFunnels homepage. We're using all native elements inside of ClickFunnels. And like I said, then we just sprinkle a little code over the top and they turn out beautiful. And again, in the training, I tell you exactly what every single character of the code does and why it is there, because I think it's important if you're going to be building this stuff for your customers, for your clients, even for yourself, that you know what the heck it is so that when it breaks, you can fix it. And that takes me to one more thing. Is included with my program is you get 3 months of my Funnel Fast Pass program where you can jump on a call and ask me. It's like, hey, Dan, my FAQ ain't working right. Can you take a look at it? And we'll jump in there. We'll fix it. You can also get on that call and say, hey, Dan, I just saw this really cool page over here. Let's dissect this thing. Can you build this for me? And I've yet to be stumped. I'm sure I will be stumped someday, but we normally can get it figured out. If not me, I can find somebody who can. So I'm going to stop rambling because I need to jump on with Russell right now, watch that with himself and Dante. And like I said, maybe this afternoon, definitely by tomorrow, I will have more stuff to show y'all. So y'all have a great day.